Hello, so good to meet you at this daily motivational meeting. We're reading World Scriptures book to empower with positive vibe. This book are helping billions of people, families, communities, cities, countries, and the whole world. And will help you to just read them and practice. As we read all this book from beginning, please find all the chapters at our Message to Billion channel. Further, let's read about the greatest people of the history, what we could learn from them. Let's read about Jesus, wept out of love for the people and agonized over their unbelief, even as his closest disciples proved faithless. Then Mary, when she came where Jesus was and saw him, fell at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. And he said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. So the Jews said, See how he loved, loved him. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you tithe might and deal and cumin, and have neglected the matter of the law, justice and mercy and faith. This you ought to have done without neglecting the others. You blind guide, straying out a gnat and shallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you cleanse the outside of the cup and of the plate, but inside they are full of extortion and rapacity. You blind Pharisees, you blind Pharisees, first cleanse the inside of the cup and of the plate, that the outside also may be clean. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appears beautiful, but within they are full of dead men's bones and all uncleanness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. And they went to a place which was called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciple, Sit here while I pray. And he took with him Peter and James and John and began to be greatly distressed and troubled. And he said to them, My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch. And going a little farther, he fell on the ground and prayed that it, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible to thee. Remove this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what thou wilt. And he came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, Simon, are you asleep? Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And again he went away and prayed, saying the same word. And again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to answer him. And he came the third time and said to them, Are you still sleeping and taking you rest? It is enough. the hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. And as Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the maids of the high priest came, and seeing Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, "You also were with the Nazareth Jesus." But he denied it, saying, "I neither know nor understand what you mean." And he went out into the gateway, and the maid saw him and began again to say to the bystanders, "This man is one of them." But again he denied. And after a little while again the bystanders said to Peter, "Certainly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean." But he began to invoke a curse on himself and so swear, "I do not know this man of whom you speak." And immediately the cock crowed a second time. And Peter remembered how Jesus had said to him, "Before the cock crowed twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down and wept. Further, as it quotes from the second coming Messiah, Father, Son, and Moon, does God live only for himself and his glory, or is God totally selfless, living for the well-being of the entire creation? Which is true. In fact, the true God came to us fallen people shedding tears. People wept either when they are sad or happy. What about God? Does God shed tears of grief, look at human misery, or tears of laughter, as he says people? Think about it. If you ever lost a loved one and then found him again years later, what about you? What would you do? You would weep first with grief and then with joy. Therefore, God wants to meet his beloved ones on the path of tears. Would you like to experience God's tears? Have you ever cried so shaking with sob that water runs from your nose and mouth, your entire body descend in sweat until you experience that grief is? You cannot test true love. And the world dominated by Satan, God's providence require battle. God has to set up a fight. Jesus certainly made some people angry when he criticized the Jews living in peace and comfort, calling them hypocrites and the brood of vipers, and casting curse upon them. If Jesus had praised the rabbis, scribes, and priests, telling them that were doing a wonderful job for God, would he have been killed? Confucius and Muhammad, all the saints without exception, declared to the world something it did not want to hear. By doing that, they created the momentum for change. The people who were the closest to Jesus caused him the most sorrow. His sorrow was not so much from rejection by the people of Israel, whom God has prepared, or from rejection by the Jews' authorities. His greatest sorrows came when his beloved disciples, some who had followed him for a long 3 years, lost faith when he needed them to believe, did not testify when he needed them to testify, did not fight when he needed them to fight, and ran from death when he needed them to face death. Who followed Jesus to the end without forsaking him? The 12 disciples? No, even the 3 chief disciples among the 12 did not keep faith and follow Jesus to the end. Although Jesus tried to introduce the love of God to humankind and tried to put that love into practice, he died without building a substantial relationship of love with a simple human being. Although Jesus conveyed words of heavenly love, and although his heart burned with love, he died without having found one person whom he could tightly embrace and exchange the affectionate words, my son, my daughter, sharing the love that runs between a parent and child. Can you understand the heart and situation of Jesus as he cries in anguish through the sleepless night in the Garden of Gethsemane? Even as the disciples were dozing off. Many people today appreciate Jesus' words of love, but 2000 years ago, Jesus did not have anyone to whom he could give his love. Jesus lived but barely 30 years, a life filled with sorrow. Jesus spent 3 years of public life, offering everything he had, yet who knew his heart and who knew his situation? Not even one person. Even the disciples who attended him as their teacher, who shared his joy and sorrow, who were sad when he was sad and lonely when he was lonely, they did not know either. The disciples who should have clung to heaven and appealed with earnest heart, concerned that their teachers might go to the path of death instead, were confused, asking, who is Jesus? On this earth, who knew the heart of Jesus? Not a single person recognized Jesus, a man filled with apprehension who experienced and felt keenly heaven's sorrow, who felt heaven's lament over humanity. Jesus did not have even one disciple who exclaimed, my Lord, intimately feeling God's heart. Enable us to sympathize with the heart of Jesus, who had to leave behind disciples ignorant of his great sorrow, with the heart of Jesus, who died without seeing his life bear fruit, even though he lived his entire life for humankind. So powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties today, please watch one more time this video or share this video as we end this billion happy life subscribers marathon. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this Heavenly Parents Holy community. Wish you a great, blessed day, and see you tomorrow with more powerful quotes. Yours, Coach Nikolai Servalek. Bye-bye.